Today's video I'm going to show you how to create an intelligent email autoresponder system by using the visual automations in ConvertKit. So I'm logged into my account here, and one thing I want to state is that you do need a pro account or a creator account, I should say, to access these automations. About $9 a month at the time of recording this, so if you haven't got one, check out the link in the description below and you'll be able to sign up and access these automations. So if I head up here, I'm logged into my account. If I head up here to automate, I've got a few options such as integrations and RSS, but I want to go to visual automations. You see I've got some automations here already that I use, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to get started. You can also go through, if you want to, check out some of the templates that they have. So they have an empty automation, so you can start from scratch, but they have a few different options here with automations you can use and customize if you don't want to have to sort of build the whole thing yourself. But we're going to go through the whole process so that way you understand how it works, and then this will just simply cut out a lot of the steps for you if you decide to go that way. So I'm going to go back to my automations and I click New Automation. Now it actually goes over to templates, so I'm going to start from scratch. And we need a trigger, something that puts people onto our email series so that they will start receiving these emails automatically. There's a few different things we can do. If they purchase, which can be set up through ConvertKit, you can do that. If they enter information in a public field, the two I look at the most, probably the easiest for most beginners, is if someone joins from a form. So if you've got a form set up, you can choose a form here. So one of these other forms to start the automation, or you can even go and create a new form, or if someone becomes tagged, which you'll see different ways to add a tag to people as we go. But I'm going to start building, and I'm going to say if someone joins a form, that's how they enter this. Now, when you're tagging people, you can actually set it up on your form that if someone clicks a certain option, then they join that tag, or you can simply tag people manually. We can actually add tags during the process of the emails depending on what actions people take. So we'll touch on that as we go. But for right now, we're going to choose this form because I don't believe it's in use at the moment, the Coming Soon form, which is just one of my forms up here under Grow and Forms. So if someone signs up using this form after I've embedded it onto my website or somewhere, I can also create a new one here, it will automatically put them onto this. So I'm going to click Add Event. And now anyone who signs up to that form will go into this little automation here. Now you can add multiple triggers. So I can go here and add in if someone is tagged. So if someone's already signed up to my email list, but they signed up using a different form, I can say, okay, when they reach the end of one automation, if they clicked on certain emails or something like that, I can add a tag as they go through, and then when they get to the end, I can sort of tag them again and pop them onto this automation. But sounds a bit complicated, but we'll get there. What we're going to do now is we can start off by clicking plus. So now you can see it's kind of like the road that they travel down. We can add an event, an action, or a condition. And we can also, so we can explore that. So if I click this event here, so we jump to here when a tag is added or a project. So this is actually kind of irrelevant at this stage because we already have a trigger. Condition, if the subscriber has a tag or a custom field. So if you have a form with a few different tags, we can give people options. So let's say we want to teach people how to build a website. We can also have a tick box there saying, do you have hosting set up currently? And if they do, they can be tagged one way or the other. So let's say we're going to set up a tag, and we're going to create a tag called hosting. So this would be, say, has hosting, we'll call it, has hosting. So if someone signs up and they click, yes, I already have hosting, then they can be added to this tag called has hosting, which I just lost for a second there. And I'm going to click has hosting, and I click here to create that tag, and I add the condition. So if the person has hosting, we can actually have them skip past a series altogether. So what we're going to do is maybe we want to add an email series here to try and promote that, hey, if you want hosting, here's where you can go and how to get things set up. So we're going to click plus here. We're going to add an email sequence. And we can create a sequence or choose one of my existing ones. So I'm going to create a sequence and call it hosting. Sorry, I keep forgetting to actually click the drop down. and I click Add Action. And of course, if someone already has hosting, we can get them to go straight around and down to our next sequence here, which might be, how to create your website. So go plus, add an email sequence, create a website, and we create that sequence. Add action. So you can see here, if someone has ticked that they have hosting, so they do have that tag, they will bypass this set of emails down to just how to create a website on their hosting account. If they click that they haven't got hosting, you can go down, show them how to get hosting set up before going on to these emails. And the way you add these emails is pretty simple. If I click on this area here, my automation sort of pops up on the left. And I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. And I can start creating emails. So I can say, I wouldn't recommend necessarily putting these exact words in there, but I'm going to say, so you need a web host. Here's what I recommend, or something like that. And that's the title or subject of the email. And I can go down here and type up an email. I'm not going to bore you with all the details of that, but one thing I can do is add a personalization. So I'll personalize greeting here. So that way, if someone has entered their name when signing up, it will say their name. Otherwise, if they don't say their name, we'll just say hello there. And you can go through and type up your email. So here is my message, blah, blah, blah. And you can add in links. So sign up here or something like that. And you type out a message for your email, basically for your subscriber when they sign up. And you can do things like highlight, add a link here. So you pop your link in there, and you can tag subscribers if they add that link. So I can hit tag, and I can add them to has hosting or something like that. So if I scroll down, has hosting. So if they click this link, I can say yes, they now have hosting, and I can pop my affiliate link in here. But for now, I'll just put my, let's just say, go siteground.com or something like that, and add that link in there. And you go through and set up your email. The other thing too is, once they've signed up, do you want to leave this for a day before you email them? In this instance, if they don't have hosting, we want to actually send this immediately. So go down to 0, and you can see it now says immediately. So the second they hit this visual flow and get to that point, this email will trigger immediately. And if I'm happy to go ahead, I will click published and click publish. So now what happens is anytime someone signs up to this form, goes through this flow, then they can start receiving this email. But if I'm not ready, if I add a second email, such as maybe I want to say something along the lines of, have you connected your domain? If I want to send that a day later, I can send it on, if I want to turn it off on certain days, I can do that. But I can also set up 1 hour later if I want to as well. I can set it up for days or hours. It's pretty cool. We're going to leave 1 hour, and let's say I've started this and I haven't finished it. I want to come back later and finish it off. I just leave this published turned off, and they won't receive this email. The other thing too is you can also set up filters over here using this little button, and you can add in some conditions as to who actually gets sent the email. So if they match any of the following, you can add a filter. So they can say they are subscribed to certain tags, then you can actually filter that through. I'm getting a bit of a display error here, so I'm just going to zoom out. So any add filter, subscribe to, or cold subscribers, you can actually target cold subscribers. You can go through, pick something here that you want them to actually qualify to receive this email. So within your email sequences, you can actually say, well, this email will only be sent if the person meets a certain requirement, like sign up for a tag, or if they meet multiple conditions, in which case they need to meet all conditions. So you can actually filter these emails individually as well, which is pretty cool. And you can also preview these emails by clicking your browser or email from there. But when you're done, once again, we hit publish. And you'll notice on the right over here, we can add our series of emails. So, final hosting email, etc. We can send that after, say, 2 days, and we publish that. And you can see here, once they sign up through the form on the left here, and they don't have the has hosting tag, they go to this email sequence. I don't know why it's not displaying properly, and they receive these 3 emails. Now you can also grab this bit here and reorder these emails if you want to. And anytime you want to edit one, you can just click into them to reopen them and get them the way you want. So you don't have to keep things in the exact order that you originally did them in. Now, once they're actually done with these 3 emails, they will then continue. So if I go, I'm going to actually just click back on our automation. Once they've received those 3 emails, they've gone down here and through, and they get our Create a Website series. Once again, we click on this, we've got our Create a Website series, we start adding in our emails so we can go through and put more information. So let's say we've added a few emails in here. I'm just going to quickly pop through, pretend these are all published, and our final email, we say, don't forget to check out our web design service. Now what I'm going to do here is a little bit different, because once again I can start adding and subtracting tags. I've already added a tag by clicking that link, and I can set up certain conditions. And what I'm going to do again is maybe they decide they want to click on this link, and once again you get your basic bits and pieces here for styling your text, so you can make it bold, italics, etc. Also, don't forget, much like a block editor and say WordPress, something if you click plus, you can add in images, files, buttons. So if you want to add in a button, we can say this button is our services or something like that. So that way they actually click a button, and you can tag subscribers. Again, we can click a tag or create a tag, so web design interest or something like that. We can create that tag. And now we can go through and style the button the way we want. And we're happy with that. So now if they click that button, once again, you can go in any time and change this info. I'm getting some display errors here, and I don't know why, but anyway, we can choose this tag area that would say tag. I'm actually zoomed in for this video, so that might be what's cutting things off. And we can then tag people. So we've got web design interest. It's supposed to be interest, but I've made a mistake. So anyone who clicks that button now becomes a part of that tag. So now I click publish. And from there, I can now do other little automations as we go. So I'm happy with this. So as we're saying before, I've published all these emails and I'm happy. I go back to our automation. I just click on the automation. And so now after they've gotten here, what I can do is click plus, and I can add in a condition. Once again, a tag or an advanced filter. So this tag, maybe I just say yes or no, and they have the tag web design interested, add condition. And what I can do is, if they're interested in web design, I can start to talk to them about a whole different series of information. So maybe I add an email sequence over here for, I'm just going to add in one of these other sequences. So once they're interested in web design, maybe I send them this set of emails. And if they're not interested in web design, maybe I decide to send them a bunch of tutorials instead. So I can actually choose what emails people get. So say beginner sequence, build a website. And you can then customize what happens depending on what tags people are signed up for, which is really powerful and really handy. The other thing too is when you get to the end of the automation, you can add in here an action. We can add a tag. So let's say for whatever reason, we want to add a tag, say has finished. We can add a tag such as finished web design or web build or something like that. And I can set up a condition that if anyone's been through this, finish web build here, so they add, anyone who gets through receives that tag that they finished the web build series. I can go up to the top and even add another little condition here. So a condition has tag, and I can choose finished web build. And you can see we got a little split here. And what I can do is then over here, if they have that tag, so no, if they don't receive that tag, they'll just go straight through to the next option. But if they actually have this finished web build tag, I can actually add in another action here, which is to unsubscribe the person or move that subscriber to start another automation. So let's say they end up on here twice in a row for whatever reason. Maybe I've got a mistake on my automation. I can send them to a different automation and maybe crash course some of the stuff and move into more complicated or more advanced techniques. So that is another way that you can control where people are going in your feed. The other thing too is, if you have people who might be doing 2 automations at once, you've got a really complex funnel, you can actually choose to remove them from another automation which may also have similar information to this one. So if they start some kind of basic funnel and you set up something that targets more advanced people, you can remove them from a basic automation and keep them on this advanced one and do things like that. The other thing too is you can actually just reuse some of these sequences. You might have noticed before, if I add in an action and an email sequence, all my existing email sequences are actually there. I can add them in, so you can have the same email sequence on different automations. But we're going to move this. We're going to move the subscriber, exit the automation, add action. So that way, now when someone signs up, if they've already been here before, then they'll exit this automation, and we can even send them somewhere else, or it'll just simply stop sending those emails. As you can see, it comes to an end. If they don't have that tag, they can now move on. Do they have hosting? Yes, they bypass this series and move on to the next series. So it's a way that you can really set things up and customize the way it works. And like I said, if someone receives an email at the end of this series saying, "Are you interested in web design?" and they click yes, they can then be split to one way or another. Another thing you can do is, if you want to actually put both sequences in there, is you can just simply add this beginner sequence in here as well. So if you want to do things that way, scroll down. It seems to scroll back up automatically. This sequence is now in both options, so you've got the option to do things that way, which is pretty cool. But it's just another way you can further customize and take full control over what your email subscribers receive. So you can see here how we add tags through links, through the end of the automation. If they end up coming through here, we can add a tag there as well. So if they complete a sequence, we can even remove this tag. We can remove this tag saying, you know, interested in web design. So they've shown they're interested in web design here. They receive this sequence, which is actually unrelated. But now they remove the tag and they go on. So you can sort of add a tag, send a series of emails, remove that tag, and really manage every little step. So, and you can see we've got some other things here, like set custom field. We can delay them. If we find that we get someone who's not interested in web design, we can just choose to delay this person for a number of days, or delay them until a custom date. So if you're setting up, say, an email launch, you can actually go through, set up an automated funnel, and when they get to the end, delay until a certain date, and then send your launch email from that date if they get through this way. So you've got a few options there to really customize this. So that is essentially how you can do it. You can set up filters like we did with the emails. So set up conditions for people to continue forward. Like I said, if a product is purchased, they can sort of move to this portion. So if someone purchases a product, say I am promoting a product here for hosting, and at some point I'm going to, well, maybe not hosting, let's say I'm selling my web design interest here. They get through here, and now I've got all of these tutorials that they're probably not going to want because they've signed up for my web design service. So I can actually, sorry, the tutorials are here. You can see the little email icon. Because I've removed this tag, they're going through, but what I can do is add in another condition. So an event, jump here when a product is purchased, or maybe I'll just add that here. Jump here when a product is purchased, and maybe I've integrated my web design service and I can actually add that in there. So that way, if they do go here, purchase my web design, they will skip the tutorials and then go down to here. So that's basically how that works. It's pretty straightforward. It is a series. You've got your trigger to start the form. You can add more triggers, including tags, purchases, that sort of thing. And you're simply going through and you can define who receives certain emails by creating these little conditions. Like I said, you've got a few conditions there, such as tags. You can also just set up filters, custom fields. You can create a custom field. I haven't really looked into that myself too much, but tagging is very powerful. Like I said, you can add tags to your links. You can add them into your automations depending on what emails they've received, and you can add them manually as well. And you can just set up all these conditions and set up a bunch of automated emails. So yeah, I think that's pretty much been fleshed out for now. Once we're happy, we want to turn this live. So I turn that on and it becomes live. But because this is just a tutorial, I'm going to leave that off. And you can also go through and you'll see, if I go back out here for a sec to a different automation I have on here, as you go along, you can see 700 subscribers have completed and signed up through this form. 700 subscribers have completed this. Only 641 of subscribers have completed this, and 15 are currently receiving these emails. So this is a very short and simple funnel, and you can go through and see how things are going. You can also go into, say, this here. We'll go into and see which subscribers have actually gone through. You can open up this email series here, and you can check out some reports and see how each individual email is performing, and that way you can tweak and move things around. I've found that actually making some emails less delayed, instead of saying 3 days down to 1 day, I get better results. So you can play with those things and see what kind of results you get from your automation. Otherwise, that's the video for today. I hope you found it useful, a little bit detailed. I've tried to get into as much detail as possible without dragging it out. But otherwise, I hope you found it interesting. Remember, if you haven't got ConvertKit, head to the link below and sign up. Definitely, like I said, you want the creator plan. Starts at about $9 a month at the time of recording, and it'll allow you to set up these automations. I've used this for multiple websites to get people flowing through and sending emails for months sometimes. It's pretty handy. Great way to automate your marketing and sort of get more sales. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for dropping by, and I'll talk to you again soon.